What is up, everybody, and welcome to today's video. I'm really excited to film this because we got some interesting updates with this official launch of Mpc 3.0. So we're no longer in beta. We have gone into the official 3.0 version of the Mpc. So if you guys want to update your Mpc to 3.0, you can do it as of today. Now in this video, I'm not going to be making a beat because there's a lot to cover, and I'm going to do my best to just summarize what we could be expecting with Mpc 3.0. And on the following days, I will be focusing on small little details that are awesome with the 3.0 update. I want to just focus on that on a separate video. So if you're not subscribed to my YouTube channel, make sure you tune in, subscribe, so you guys can be updated with some of these features. Now, as you saw in the thumbnail, Akai and Native Instruments are now coming together, collaborating to put together an awesome product for us, the users, and be able to use the best of both worlds within our process of just creating music. This is going to be interesting because Akai is, to me, one of the leading companies when it comes down to their samplers, the hardware, the MPC keys, the MPC Live, MPC One. All these samplers to me are top of the line. I try different samplers and I always come back to my MPC because the MPC has everything when it comes down to a piece of hardware where I can sample and sequence music together. Now, when it comes down to the software side, Native Instruments, you'll know that their software, their instrument plugins, or their VSTs are some of the best sounding VSTs that you could use when you are using it on your computer. But now we're able to get the best of both worlds all right here within our MPCs in standalone. Now, as of today, with this launch, Native Instruments, they're coming out with two different products for our MPCs. They will have the Play Series instruments, and they will have their expansions created by Native Instruments. Now, their Play Series are going to be the plug-in instrument tracks that we can have on our MPCs. So when you download a plug-in instrument from Native Instruments website, you'll now have access to that right here on your MPC. Now, there's going to be 5 plug-in instruments, which will have Natch, Sway, Cloud Supply, and Analog Dreams. Now, I'll tell you this right now. I really do enjoy being able to have plug-in instruments from Akai. They sound great, but these plug-in instruments from Native Instruments are just it's interesting, the sounds, the presets that I'm using, because I'm using the presets as of right now. But if you're into sound designing, you're going to have so many options to create your own sounds. Me, myself, I'm not much of someone that gets into sound design as much, but when it comes down to the presets, they're just amazing. These 5 new plug-in instruments from Native Instruments have to be my favorite ones over any other plug-in instrument that I've used on my MPC. Now, there is going to be a separate video where I'm going to go into more detail with some of these plugins and show you the power and flexibility that you're going to be able to have with these Play Series instruments, because they are different from what we're used to with our instruments from Akai. Now, in addition to these Play Series instruments, we're also going to have some expansions from Native Instruments. The expansions that we're going to have as of today are going to be 5 new expansions, which are created and designed by Native Instruments, and we'll find those right here on our library. And the 5 expansions that we have is going to be Faded Reels, Global Shake, Hazy Days, Lone Forest, and Rare Vibrations. What I like when it comes down to expansions on the Mpc is the fact that you could see the back end on how they're using some of the plugins that everybody has on their Mpcs to create these sounds that they're putting together. For example, I have like these sounds right here, they're created. You could see how they're using the plugins. They got Para EQ, Lo-Fi, the limiter, and I like to just open up the hood from these and just see how they're using these EQs because they sound so good, how they're designing these sounds. Now I'm able to get some ideas for whenever I put together some of my sounds. I just like to see what other people are doing. It's really cool to see the integration of native instruments, which they have really good sounding sounds, plugins, their expansion packs. And as of right now, I feel like this is just the beginning. This is just the start of what's about to happen when these two companies come together. Also with this update, we have native control standard, which is integrating with the MPC hardware. If you own any of the MPK keyboards or pads, any of those controllers, you'll now be able to use some of the parameters of these controllers that Akai makes to control something like your Native Instruments Complete. Any of the plugins that you may be using already in your software, you're going to be able to control that with some of the Akai hardware controllers. Now, there's so much more to cover with the software that I want to make a video dedicated to this because I noticed that within the Mpc 3, at least when we were in beta, there was a few bugs with my program or my track editor. But now with the Mpc 3, they didn't really talk about it as much, but I saw that they have a new algorithm when it comes down to your warping, which if you guys have seen some of my videos, you'll notice that when it comes down to warping audio, I'm not a fan of it in standalone because it just does not sound as good versus if you're using the MPC software, it does sound pretty good, but in standalone, not as good. Well, now with the new warp features right here, you have the ability to use the default Pro 10 algorithm, and you also have Repitch, which Repitch, again, I'm gonna make a video on this on its own because this deserves a video on its own. It's going to allow you to set the BPM of a sample that you bring into your pads, right? Even if you chop it up into 16 pads, just detect the sample of those pads. And once you have that BPM detected, you're able to use this repitch function. The way that's going to work is just gonna allow you to switch the tempo in real time without having to worry about the shift timing of your samples. It's going to repitch all of your sample chops to match the tempo that you're currently fluctuating to. Again, this is just crazy to hear. Like, the sound of it is perfect. Like, I've pushed it so far, and it allows me to just sequence a beat with my sample chops. And if I want to, later on, I want to go up 5, 10, 20 BPM or lower it, slow it down, it will adjust the pitch of those chops. Again, that's going to be something I'm going to dedicate later on. But to me, this is the most exciting update because I sample and I chop up records. This repitch algorithm right here is changing a lot for my workflow, which is awesome. So I'm gonna be making a video on all of these individual plugins and some of these features that we're gonna be seeing in 3.0 in the next few days. So make sure you tune in. Now, if you are new to the MPC and you're just like, man, I'm excited, I wanna learn the MPC, you're seeing all these updates come out. I do have a course that takes you from start to finish with the MPC workflow. The course does cover Mpc 2.0 and it also covers Mpc 3.0. So if you want to hop over to 3.0 and you want to learn just how to make a beat from start to finish, sign up to the course today. We also offer payment plans. So if you want to start watching the videos as of right now, you could purchase the course and set up payment plans as you're learning. All right, so there's a lot right there just to cover with this 3.0. Now, I don't know about you, but for me, this is so exciting. It's just really interesting to see where things are going with the Akai hardware now with Native Instruments. I feel like this is just the beginning of what's to come. Now, I have the Mpc Keys 37, the Mpc One Plus, and the Mpc Live. If you know, these pieces of hardware only have 2 gigs of RAM. I've loaded up 3-4 instances of these plug-in instruments. I've had no issues. I know there's other people that maybe you'll load up 5 or I don't know what the limit is, because I rarely use more than 2 or 3 plugin instruments when I'm making music. I chop up records, and every now and then I'll load up a plugin instrument and sprinkle some of that on top of my samples. So for someone like me, I've not ran into any buffer issues or any of my sessions crashing. It's been working great. So it's pretty interesting to see how they're doing all of this to be able to be usable right here with our MPCs in standalone. Now, the Mpc 3 unfortunately is not out in the software just yet. I don't know when that's going to come. Hopefully that does come around sooner than later. But right now, Mpc 3 official launch is only available in standalone. All right, so I'm actually curious to know. Please let me know down in the comments. Are you Mpc 2.0 or are you Mpc 3.0? I'm actually really shocked on how many people are still in 2.0. Whenever I do talk to some of my subscribers, they'll tell me the same story of like, man, I'm not sure if 3.0 is right for me. Once we explore 3.0, everybody always says the same thing about why didn't I hop over to 3.0 a lot sooner? Well, now, if you're thinking about it, go into 3.0, test it out. If you don't like 3.0, you can always downgrade within a click of one button. So let me know down in the comments what you guys think about all this with this new integration of native instruments. Are you guys excited for this? Thank you so much for tuning in. I'll catch you guys on our next video. Peace.